Welcome, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath, Season 2, Episode 16. Bryan and Maria had gone out to seek guidance and possibly some information from Baron Jameson regarding this firearm that they had been so wonderfully introduced to by Sebastian Moore. And after speaking with him, went to go see Veronica. Veronica being the monstrous sire of Maria. And upon seeing that horrid form again, Bryan was surprisingly unshaken. Maria donned a similar form in horrificness, maybe not appearance, and felt a little too close to her beast, Old Scratch, during that time. And so, after conversing with Veronica, the two have made their way back to the coterie house, where they find Faust and Noel. Noel having spent most of the beginning of the evening studying.
Well, Maria's been taking some time to end up, well, accumulating the thoughts. Maybe just trying to end up keeping herself from panic. She doesn't know how Bryan does it. Too often that Bryan ends up having a moment to end up, bluntly, he's just, you can't rattle him. He's like one of those growing boulders, you know? Have to end digging those out of the ground all the time on the farm just to end up here being able to till the soil. And sure enough, you think you get rid of one. A couple of years later, you find another one and wrecks the blades. I don't know. Keep thinking back, actually, of the farm, right? I'm also a little bit wondering. See, tonight I killed myself, a individual. Fact is that I ended up taking the time to end up draining them dry. And ever since, I felt right with myself. It's like the first time when I was alive, I guess I should say, being saved. I don't have that lingering thought in my head anymore. I don't feel distracted. All intents and purposes, I feel calm. Like everything's right in the world. And I'm just kind of riding that.
The beauty of salvation, right?
Amen.
But Noel and Faust, you hear the door open to the entryway of the house, which may or may not spark your curiosity as to who may have just walked in the door. You know that Ray has been spending a lot of time in her own room currently. If you need her, she'll be around for whatever, but right now she's taking some personal time.
Personal time. Seems everyone's been taking that lately. Kind of missed the little group get-togethers, team meetings before we went out and ventured the nights. Now that I think about it, it was probably mostly me requesting that. That said, though, it's nice to be back around. But it's nice to be engaged once again. So all the more that I turn to see who's just walking into the door. See my friends from the coterie.
You notice that
No.
Maria looks pale, however. Very pale.
Hmm. As they're walking through the door, Noel would take a peek over to see who it is, and those two do enter, Noel is going to make a gesture towards Faust and be like, "Look who I found!"
Caught at work. Managed to pull me aside. You seem a little more on the, well, paler side at the moment. Something interesting happened.
Nothing at all. I didn't notice much of a change, to be honest. Don't worry, everything's fine. I think that's the first time I can really say that.
All is well at the moment.
A
Surprising.
few other things. I'm so glad to end up seeing you back. I was kind of curious where you might have gone off to, but I figure a man such as yourself ain't exactly one to end up being tied at the home front.
No, there were circumstances I need to tend to. But needless to say, my attention is here once again, and it will remain here.
And if I hold you to that,
Please do.
so what ends up bringing your benevolent self all here? I know that you end up coming back, but I'm sure you have a reason in mind. No,
Mostly-
you end up. Oh, go on.
My apologies. Mostly telegrams reported from our one and only Noel himself. Mr. Stoneford has been very, very attentive in making sure that aware of what's been going on. A bit much, as I'm coming to learn.
Wow. Everybody else has been running around. I just stayed in the home front for the most part. I'm sure that he's already caught you up on the situation.
Which one in particular?
Let's see here. Everybody running around chasing the tail. Everybody seeming to talk everybody else's business all around, spreading about, digging ourselves a deeper hole and wondering if we'll ever end up climbing out of it again. That situation.
The one we've been in since day one. Right.
Well, the one we were in day one was at least they didn't have to end up reaching out and spit at us. They just end up taking a look and say, there's the individuals we got to end up avoiding, keep an eye on them, make sure they don't leave their pen and call it a day. But instead, we're known for, well, I can only imagine most of them are considering us to be trying to defect, and the only reason we haven't jumped ship is because no one else wants it. So we're not here out of loyalty, it's now out of a lack of options, which then in turn makes a whole nother problem. I think you catch my meaning.
I do indeed. That said, What, pray tell, do we plan to do for the rest of the evening?
Well, for once I find myself with a night off. Well, what's left of it. Figure I'd go and meet an old friend.
See,
Why,
no,
was there something on the menu?
not quite. More so wanting to round up and figure out some loose ends. Try and cut off any additional strings that we need.
Think that would end up leaving it with, you, Noel, seem to end up having that all well sorted. You're the big brains of the operation. I don't know quite what I do here anymore. Guess I'm just patrol.
You maintain the hold. The homesteader, the settler. Honestly, I argue in a lot of cases, most of which probably wouldn't be quite as attuned to our survival, if not for your own exploits. So with that, thank you, Maria.
I don't know what to say. Still, it is appreciated. Very much so. I am curious on how it is we're moving forward. You say you want to end up tying up loose ends. What kind of loose ends are we talking?
Oh, the loose ends. I've been hearing still that this Harrison figure is out and about, still on patrol, so to speak.
I don't know about that. Near as I can tell, he's gone to ground. Disappeared. You know, like when your old man cuts the cheese in the windstorm.
We're aware he's camped out somewhere in Velda's domain and isn't making a big fuss of himself. So
Then that makes him Velda's problem now, don't it?
yeah, let's just hope that little problem doesn't end up blindsiding Queen T. Last thing I need is that kind of news. Because once she goes down, guess who's next?
What makes you think that she's going to end up going down? Well, in truth, let's think that one through. So I've been mulling it over. I end up coming to a realization here. His best was called together by people who lost something or people who got dragged into it. By people who didn't have the appropriate backup. And even then, we managed to do something about it. Now, we also got rid of all the evidence for it. All witnesses have been removed. So what has he got? He's got a fairy tale at most. You gave Velda plenty of warning to end up saying, hey, here it is. I think what we're doing right now is shooting above our pay grade. The people who know and are capable of doing a lot more than us already know. We've done our responsibility on it. And if they ever come around here, then I'm pretty sure they'll end up letting us know pretty quick. It's probably something they want to put a cork on.
Yeah. My
Now,
my only thought on that is
doubt it.
one thing that I expect is playing possum.
All right. So what are you going to do? Chase them for the next 50 years? We
No.
going to move up into Velda's domain, set up shop, make that our full-time job?
No.
So what do you actually want us to do about it, Noel? I'm sorry, but at this point, I kind of end up feeling like a head dog with a choker collar around my neck being dragged on the back of a truck. You keep saying, we got to go this, we got to go over this. And when I look at the pieces, when I end up hearing the story, when I understand what we're involved in, it doesn't make a lick of sense coming. And then you're talking about Queen T? Like you're on some kind of first name basis that she'll end up having you over a single ring of the phone? It don't make a lick of sense. You're worried about what they're going to do. You have no idea what they're even capable of, do you?
I was thinking we could split it down the middle. How about we just spend time fortifying what we have?
That's been what I've been doing. Because right now, I think we've spent more time chasing ghosts and apparently being visited by them than we have actively been making sure that we're set. I got two errands to end up running tonight. I've got to end up here talking with Sammy, and I was hoping to be able to end up here being able to end up having them go in, pick up some food on bulk, and maybe end up making a run to the homeless camps that recently moved in here because of what Velda ended up doing. You know, we got a mass migration coming in, and we can end up using that as a point because we got a whole bunch of blood resources coming in. We have a whole bunch of people who got nowhere else to go, and near as I can end up figuring, that's the only opportunity we've ever been handed. And instead of looking at that and going, what can we do with this? Try and craft it. What we've been doing is chasing our own damn tails. I don't think this is a false synopsis of the situation.
Seems accurate.
Well, I've always been amenable to the homeless front. Since Ray mentioned it. But I left that in her wheelhouse. She said she was gonna deal with it.
Then let's look at.
So I've, considering you guys are the more the people, that I would leave the logistics of such to you.
Mr. Stoneford, how about we go be people together? I recognize you've been doing a little bit of
Hope you get that there. What was that?
I've noticed you've been doing a little bit of political hopping the past while. As you've said, making connections. We do encounter difficult circumstance where not many in us, most in the city, definitely want to remove us. I think we need to look into ally. Is Violet still available? Maybe I should give her.
I mean, we did talk to Violet.
We did, and we offered her a service.
Oh no, I mean since that time we've talked to Violet once more regarding this this Harrison problem. But on that one, now we wait. He's playing possum, he's going to stick his head up, and as soon as he does, I'm going to remove it. And that's the end of that. Sound like a prompt and punctual end?
You see what we've been dealing with here, Faust? I explained the situation, and what did he just do? He I'm saying, how can we handle Harrison? It's not in our wheelhouse. And he went right back to it.
I never said anything about handling him.
When he pops his head out, I'll take it off. Your exact words.
Yeah. When he comes back here, because he inevitably probably will. Then we'll deal with it just as we would any other threat to the domain.
Anything to do with us right now? Do you think that he might not be thinking at this exact moment that I might have a handful of blood crazed killers that are here currently wanting to end up devouring me whole to end up keeping their little secret and are probably looking at me for every 2 seconds? And not only that, if the problem's worse than he feared, we might know some people. So right now, at best, he's existing on the lam. Let him die poor, hungry, and in a fucking ditch for all I care. Because right now, it keeps going back to Harris. Now, if you want to make him your sole obsession, you go right on ahead. But as far as I can tell, Faust was the one that had probably the biggest beef with the guy, since the one who developed the thing that ended up setting him on fire. And if that wasn't bad enough, ruined a perfectly tailored suit. And yet, it was. It looked good on you. And then, what did they end up doing? They said, I'm going to end up handling it. I'm going right back to work. Never sweat it. But to you, it's obsessive at this point. I think you would talk to every single kindred in here, mention it going. And you want to know what? I'll tell you right now, I had a talk with somebody a little bit on the higher echelons myself. And you know what their immediate reaction was? You're not going in getting help and information. What you're doing is you're broadcasting, hey, we're fuck ups, we're screw ups. We end up doing this. We're to blame for this. We're to blame for that. So every time you open your mouth, you're just digging a hole a little bit deeper and throwing us in with the rest of it.
Do I see Bryan?
Yeah, he's here.
Good evening, Bryan.
Evening.
What have you been up to?
Trying not to get my head blown off.
Ah. Fair enough. Seems to be the general consensus. Now tell me. Just a word of note about that. No hard feelings, correct?
None at all.
Wonderful. And I just put my hand on his shoulder, give him a squeeze, say, shrug, and
How's the training going for you?
arduous. I am not quite built the same as you. The best way I can put it.
It takes time. You'll get there. You'll
More
get
than
there.
Certainly.
Maybe you could start working out with Nicole.
Oh, heavens. Perhaps. Might be roughly on the same level. Theoretically.
Maybe before she left. Maybe before you left. You haven't seen Nicole lately, have you?
I turned to Maria. What
I
happened?
think at this point she's too busy. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, you decide to have this side conversation, and now it's just this
Yeah, like
berating bit where she's going off on Noel. Ain't that right, Maria? You son of a bitch! And the horse you rode in on.
Well, I think it would be nice to go and see her once again, if that is an option. We'll have to make that a little bit of a sidetrack. Make sure she's doing well. I'd like to see her. That said, let's make a game plan for the night. Mr.
Well, we got
Stone.
the homeless, right?
Yep.
Maria is going to talk to Sammy and take care of some stuff for the homeless. What were y'all talking about again? I'm sorry. I'm a bit lost.
Well, it seems
Don't-
we.
Don't worry. Don't worry about it, Brian. I just have to come to terms with what Maria just said she was going to do to me with a horse.
No, she didn't say she was going to do that to you with the horse. She said screw you and the horse you rode in on. Meant you can go screw the horse.
I don't want to see centaurs.
Sorry, what?
Don't worry about it. That said, let's come up with a game plan. We need to make some connections. Clearly, the contribution is lacking in friendly morals. Not that they really had any to begin with. So, let's continue doing what we are good at, and that's making friends with people. Mortals.
We're good at that? That's news to me.
I'd like to think we are, to some extent.
I think Maria's good at it.
Seems to me everybody wants to take my head off.
Well, I don't
Actually,
yet.
I
Well,
don't.
you are a blood-sucking cannibal.
Supportive.
No.
It's not like any of us had a choice in how we feed, right? That's just kind of part and parcel of what we are and how we become what we are. Or did you actually choose to feed the way you do, Maria? I know I didn't.
Doesn't change the fact.
All I will say is that certain changes and restrictions to feeding normally aren't self-imposed, but especially not ones of that nature. But otherwise, yes, you do choose how you feed. In the end, normally it's out of convenience, what's available, what suits your natural talents.
Great, let's make a local 7-Eleven.
Are we franchising now? Can we afford to do that?
I can.
Who would buy those slushes
Not yet.
besides Ray?
Oh no.
That's good.
Let's not bring up her macabre Chinese food, please. Sure, the last poor dude was Chinese. Noel is kind of chuckling, but it's that kind of chuckling that's specifically like, if I wasn't laughing, I would be crying. It's a very uncomfortable laughter.
Well, nevertheless, this is where what is the actual objective? Let me ask, in 5 years, what are we supposed to do? Let's do it. Faust, you're big on 5-year plans, right? Business thing. Where do you see yourself? Where exactly are we heading?
Well, my goal in general has always been a revision to the area. Overall, if we have a homeless population coming in, realistically, what we want is to be able to have that circulating. Circulating between us in a way that making it more accessible. Clean up the neighborhoods, allow them resources and access so that we at least have something clean. And for the things that aren't clean,
Yeah, I know what I need to do with them.
we can make them a little more lucrative. If I remember right, Miss Kalu was interested in reinvesting her own businesses into the neighborhood. I'm sure we could figure something out between that.
Well, I'm sure Miss Rousing has something to, yeah, some ties to human trafficking, so that might be lucrative for you.
Would indeed. So I do believe we have another conversation to be had, Miss Rose.
Yes,
Well,
business.
first you need to end up having the resources at your disposal. Right now, they're just sitting on the front porch, but it's not like we can just snap our fingers and suddenly, hey, they come running. We haven't developed that at all.
It's true.
Now,
And the data farm on the money side of things is it's putting out a little bit, but it's not putting out a lot yet. It's struggling to pay for its own overhead, with not a lot left afterwards. So that's all. As far as the mundane side of things go, to actually have capital to do these sorts of things, may need to think about a move and an upgrade.
Sounds excellent. We'll start with that.
Sounds good.
So then, that being said, I do believe I need to look into real estate, business owning, and whatnot. I'll see what's accessible. As far as everything else, I think an easy way to organize having individuals available, talking with the homeless population, is obviously giving the basics. They need food, they need water, they need shelter. I can work on the shelter side of things. As far as food is, why don't we have another neighborhood event?
because right now everybody in the neighborhood shit's scared. Ain't you here? Few of them got mauled. So nobody wants to come out. Nobody wants to risk it. And right now, we are dealing with figureheads that are not doing particularly well. I would like to end up trying to alleviate that, but it's very hard to end up doing so when no one's willing to end up coming out. One of the reasons why I gotta go door to door. But to be fair, that makes things a little easier on our part.
Well, no one wants to go out, so we give them an option to go. Find someone who will allow us the space. An indoor building, an auditorium, maybe a church.
Thinking like a neighborhood shelter, like a hub center kind of thing.
I'm thinking more of a food drive first. That'll have people circulating pretty well. If they want additional resources, we can go and pick them up with volunteers. We'll be happy to assist in trying to clear out the bad air in the neighborhood. There's always someone wanting to help. And if not, we convince them.
Okay.
We do have capital for, at the very least, to hire simple work. Simple hands.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we do have we do have the capital for that at the very least.
What was the man? The priest's name? Father
Runfield?
Renfield. I think it would serve to pay him a visit. See if it's something he would be open to. And all the more that it would sweeten the deal that Parvenu, the company, would be willing to invest in seeing to it the drive is available as a benefactor of sorts.
As a corporate sponsor.
Well, that's a tax write-off for y'all, isn't it?
It is indeed. Charity is wonderful, isn't it?
That is an exceptionally twisted way of looking at things, Mr. Hubert, but I can't fault you for that.
We need to build things up. We need to build resources, fortifications. Clearly, everyone here is steady, afraid of what could possibly happen in the future. I don't want that to be the case anymore, reasonably. I think it's worthwhile to invest in. Have us a little bit of stable ground. At the very least. Maybe other kindred might not like us so much, but given circumstances, with enough, in time, we might see more individuals needing us.
I suppose that's it, isn't it? We won't make them like us, but we will make them need us.
So, I think it'd be good to visit Renfield. We'll start with that. Anyone care to join me for this venture? Bit of a jaunt?
I think I would,
Yeah.
actually. Been a while since I've gone to church. I had to skip out last. And after all, there's just so much to catch up on.
Well, then... we'll make it a coterie jaunt. I need to get out of the house. And look at another diagram, I might start suffering some form of Tetris effect.
Say again?
The Tetris effect. Not heard of it.
I know the game.
Not at all what you're speaking of.
Psychological phenomenon. Playing the game or looking at diagrams for very prolonged periods of time will cause such things to begin to blend in with the real world. So you start seeing the world as, in Tetris's case, detrimentos.
So what you're saying, Mr. Stoneford, is you can't find who this Pepe Sylvia guy is. No? Yes? No?
I thought it was just a test of your spatial reasoning in 3D.
Well, it is, but said prolonged playing can cause you to start seeing the world as game pieces, and it's unpleasant and apparently very hard to shake. So I'd rather it not happen to, someone. I'd just rather it not happen to me. Let's just put it at that. So, shall we?
Let's.
Lead the way.
Okay.
And I'm guessing to the church we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the four of you make your way to St. Jerome's Catholic Church, where you know Father Renfield to preside as priest.
I believe I'll stay outside. Keep an eye on the joint.
Not your flavor, Bryan.
It's a thing with him. All you really need to know right now, Faust.
Right. All right. Well, keep an eye out, Bryan.
That's the plan.
Wonderful. So we enter, knocking on the doors, and at this time of night, presumably, there's someone still available.
You would see that Father Renfield has been assisting some of the other staff in getting things cleaned up, getting things ready, making sure the projector is working for any kind of displays that are happening up um, on the boards that kind of hang over the back, or the altar kind of section of the room. Just making sure things are prepared, given that it's very close to Sunday.
Wonderful. Walk in, view the high chapel ceiling, the sort of podium exhibit most churches and whatnot tend to have. It's very noble, but at the same time, also feels dusty. Such is the case.
And you see him wearing the more casual wear of a black short sleeve shirt with the traditional collar and blue jeans. He's not necessarily in formal wear right now.
It's an interesting time nowadays. Have a lot of
Believe-
folks coming through.
Sorry, I think I just have to end up advertising. I got to rouse for Blush of Life because right now I look a little bit closer to a corpse.
You are very dead looking, yes.
Damn.
Makes you hungrier, Maria. That little voice of Old Scratch is starting to come back.
Yeah.
And the first stray thought that flows through your mind as you're moving your vitae through your body to bring yourself to a lively appearance is, he looks like a tasty morsel.
Really? The moment I walk into a church, I gotta be hearing old.
Seems like it.
I approach Father Renfield, hands in pockets, pretty casual. I see you're getting everything settled for the evening. Tell me, do you get a lot of people going through these days?
Not a terrible lot. Sundays is when most people come by. Uh, is there something that I can help you with, sir?
Certainly. My name is Faustus Buford. You probably met me at the, I believe it was a small backyard party barbecue.
Right. I remember you. You had that, funny-looking Hawaiian shirt on.
Hey, I thought it looked great.
To each their own, I suppose.
That said, it's, Father Renfield, correct?
That's right.
Yes. I shake his hand. Make sure that it's a firm shake, and you're right. I forgot about Blush of Life.
I was meaning to ask if is anyone else blushing besides Maria.
Mm. Oh, I can't afford that at the moment. If I fail that rouse check.
What hunger are you at, Noel?
If you didn't see that, hunger 3.
3. Okay.
It's rough, man. That's rough.
That is fairly rough. So if Faust, you would like to give me a rouse check, you may.
Oh, you gave me a freebie. Okay, I'll take it. Cool. Let me just get to the page. Hold on. Bum, bum, bum. Boink.
Success.
Oh boy.
You're not
So-
any hungrier. That's just good.
Yep. I make sure my hand is warm before going ahead and shaking his. I kind of blow on it, considering it's still somewhat closer to winter. Just
It's getting
You
fairly
know.
close to Christmas, that's for sure.
shake his hand. Sorry. It's really chilly out there. It's getting to be around that time. And
Yeah, it is.
It's actually it's been on my mind lately. Seems to be quite a few people seems to be stuck out here during the whole. Oh, it's a real shame.
I'm not trying to get your meeting.
Tell me, have you not noticed all the folks that seem to be out and on the streets? I've certainly noticed it. You see, I actually have my own business. Sometimes seem to be running past a lot of camps just through the alleys. Sometimes there will be a couple times actually. There's been a couple vehicles that I've seen in the lots come by not too often. They don't stay for a night at a time. People are clearly spending their evenings in them.
Right. It's a
It's a
shame
damn
that.
shame. It's a damn shame. I don't know. This may be completely out of Mr. but I've been thinking a lot about it. In general, I've been interested in helping with the city's revitalization, at least this San Antonio. And I think being able to provide homeless individuals and houseless individuals a little more resourcing really help perk up some circumstances.
Yes. Yes, I think I would share the same kind of sentiment. So long as, because housing developments are really starting to kick off in the north side, and, well, people down on their luck can't afford them. They're not exactly built for the less fortunate in mind.
Gracious. Yeah. Housing market. Tell me about it. Oh, you'd be surprised how that is inflated.
Yeah.
It's still not right. It's not right then. Especially now during
Yeah, it's a thing that. Thankfully, I've had a couple of people kind of come in and offer ways to assist in that regard. So,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Had some luck. Some volunteers and individuals who really want to help the community. It's great. It's great to hear.
yes.
Tell me, how are your resources on that?
The church can't offer much, but we do what we can. Obviously,
Wonderful.
this church is small enough that the offerings suffice. Of course, that's dependent on the generosity of the person in their seat. That's not something that I can push without looking like a money grubber.
Mm.
We know how
Thanks.
those kinds of super churches tend to happen. There's a couple of them here in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can get a little distracting. What was it? Oh, gosh. There's one that, I start leading him a bit away from Maria and Mr. and Stoneford for a second, just to talk with him, make him feel a little comfortable. I'm gonna go ahead and use awe.
Okay.
And Faust is just like going into it. Oh yeah, certainly. I've been around. There was this one time I went into California. One church was all about it, just this whole MLM scheme. But you're different than that, Father Renfield. And I can see that. I can see you genuinely care about it.
Well,
I think
it's a reflection of the Lord, I would hope.
it's Christ-like, yes. I believe that's the term they use, right?
Yes.
I used to not really be a man of, well, not myself. It's hard to consider such a thing, but these days I'm starting to reconsider it.
You're not the first person to tell me that.
It appears
I've had
it's the
several
time.
this week, actually.
Times seem to be demanding a revision. And I think you would be great for it. I think you would be a fantastic leader. Yes.
You would probably actually want to get in touch with a man I know. Man? Woman? Not sure. Their name is Jude Walker.
Oh, I see. What exactly should I get in contact with them for? Leave a volunteer?
They had a very similar idea, actually.
See. That's pretty excellent. I'll have to give them a look into that. Perhaps a way to contact them, find them.
Can't remember. Did they leave me their number? He kind of starts fishing through his wallet and things, and pulls out a little slip of paper with a phone number on it. Ah, yes. Not that they use a cell phone very often, but they did tell me that they could be reached at this number, and he hands you a piece of paper.
I'll go ahead and give them a call up and see if maybe they'd be interested in working together. But in the meantime, Father Enfield, how about I make an offer to you? I had an idea, and I've been really intent on this. The idea of helping to bring and revitalize the nation. It occurred to me that can't just occur on an economic side. It has to occur socially, culturally. And I think that being able to provide for the people on the lower ends and castes of our little neighborhood here would honestly change the views and the ideas and prospects we have here. What if I were to say, Parvenu Network Solutions was interested in hosting a charity drive?
Charity drive would be fantastic. It's the giving season, after all, and people tend to be looking for their, quote, good karma around this time of year.
Absolutely.
And I don't see it being of a particular problem. It'd probably take a couple weeks to put together, but
Certainly, yes.
all the red tape and
Realist,
everything.
absolutely. If you're looking for some folks to assist with volunteer services, get individuals involved, working in this for a, I was thinking a food drive to start off, at the very least. Maybe some
Mm-hmm.
gifts here and there so that some of our houseless population would be able to spread out to each other.
Well, I normally put something together like that towards this time of year anyway, and if Parvenu wants to add a financial contribution, that would be excellent.
Wonderful. It's great. Yes. And with that, how about this? You and I will stay in contact for this. You just tell me what you need. I'll make sure to grab it for you, get you all set up and arranged. In exchange, we'll try and have your volunteers do the roundabouts for us. You hold the whole event here. You're at the church, and we'll see if we can get this into a, rather than a yearly event, regular drive.
That would be fantastic.
I think so too. So how about it? And Faust puts its hand up.
And Father Renfield puts his hand into yours and shakes it and says, "You know, it's gonna do a lot of good. I think that whatever you can contribute financially would go a long way."
I think so too.
Because this
I'm
Jude
excited.
Walker also wants to put a roof over their heads.
It'd be wonderful if we could all come together. We'll find a way to bring the neighborhood and smile and brightness back. Don't you think?
It would certainly brighten the mood.
Wonderful. Well then, Father Renfield. I do have other matters I must attend to at this time,
Of course.
but I'll be keeping in contact with you.
Oh,
We'll
absolutely.
be arranging some matters. Oh, actually, I do have one more thing. And I start pulling them over, and I bring them over to Maria and Noel. Father Renfield, I haven't had the moment to really introduce you. These are my two business partners. This is Maria and Mr. Stoneford. Maria Higgs, Noel Stoneford. This is Father Ren.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
We're quite well acquainted. I and the father.
Yes, we have spoken before, actually. It's good to see you, Maria.
I see you, father. Sorry, I was while you were speaking with our dear friend and colleague, I was in prayer.
Hmm.
She kind of grips at her own chest, holding the rosary underneath her collar. Trust that you ended up having a very fruitful discussion with my dear friend here, Mr. Buford.
Yes. I believe we have arrangements now to for Parvenu to kind of partner with us to really get this donation drive off the ground.
Well, if you need anything, don't hesitate to call. All three of us have had, well, we've had our moments, and being able to end up bringing something to the table, I'm sure we can end up solving just about any problem that you need. Always looking to end up helping the neighborhood, after all.
Hmm.
And ever since, sorry, Father, you go right on ahead.
No, please.
I was just thinking, as I was in prayer for Mr. Muhammad.
Mm,
You heard about that, right?
I did. Yeah. Saeed's very, very integral part of this community, and it's a real shame that he got injured. He's on the mend, though. Thank the Lord.
I pray for a miracle in his recovery.
I think a miracle's already been performed.
Oh?
Doctors were very skeptical about whether he'd get full use of his arm back. But, he's on the mend. It's really a miracle. He's... The way that Lisa tells it is she's seeing more and more movement out of his hand every day.
Well,
She's excited.
I'm glad to end up hearing that. My biggest concern right now is how everybody's so fearful.
Yes.
I guess, hopefully, is that the only thing anybody's talking about? I guess I should be grateful when everybody's only complaining about one thing, not letting it snowball.
Well, there's plenty of muggings afoot, and I don't think that's... I think that has to do with a lot of, like you said, the less fortunate kind of making their way down here. And in that regard, people are desperate, and we need to relieve some of that desperation.
Certainly. Who is it? Are there any others that I should know about? Because I know about Saeed, but I don't know about too many others. Is it getting worse?
Well, recently Charles had a car accident and is missing memory.
I'm sorry, Charles.
I forget his last name. Lawyer.
That Charles. Oh, heavens. What happened with him?
Apparently got in a car accident. Can't remember the damn thing. But,
Well,
somebody said that they saw a person get in the car with him and then get out, and he ran into a parked car. Sawyer. Charles Sawyer. That's it.
Faust just glances very lightly at Noel and then glances back to the other two.
Faust, you know Charles because Charles also assists Mr. Wolford at his business from time to time.
But Noel introduced him.
Yep.
Well, that's absolutely terrible. I'm wondering if maybe the hospital will allow us the opportunity to check in, if anything. He was a business friend. Met him some of the dealings and whatnot. In fact, one of the bank corporations that I met him up there.
Then there was Alana and Peter Rutherford and several others. It's been a lot of muggings lately.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Well, I'm sorry to end up hearing about that all. Yeah, Father, I think... Well, it's about high time that I end up getting ready to end up heading out, man. Don't want to be out too late, especially with what you told me. It is gravely concerning.
Yes. People are worried that another family like the Ramirez are going to be moving in.
Not if we can help it. If
Well.
anything.
We're all children under the Lord, after all.
That's true. That's very true. Well,
Father Enfield,
yes.
if I could, well, Mr. Stoneford here is quite knowledgeable about philosophy. I would advise if he's generally very. If you ever want to have a friendly discussion with him regarding religion, worship, I'm sure he will have much to speak to you on. And very
Well,
happy to know you and Miss Higgs are all.
well, I wouldn't force anything on anyone. Anyone who wants to come and speak with me, they're more than welcome.
Certainly.
Kind of looks over to Noel for a moment, then looks back to you, Faust.
That said, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
It has. You all have a good night.
You as well.
And you all set to leave him to do the things that he was working on for preparing for the coming Sunday.
Wonderful.
Preparation of the Eucharist and whatnot. I just said preparation of the Eucharist and whatnot.
All of that, yes. All of the preparing that must be done.
Returning to Bryan, we go ahead. Faust will go ahead and give him the update as to what's going on. It's like, gave Father Renfield our number. From here, it's just a matter of finding our volunteers, and it looks like we have one. Tell me, I think it's been mentioned before. It seems like Jude Walker has already been looking into similar business.
We need to have a talk. Get in the car.
All right. In the car we go. One thing I'm gonna do really fast is before I get in the car, I'm going to check the vehicle.
Okay.
Or rather, the area around it.
Okay.
First, speaking with Bryan, just being like, is everything all good? No extraordinary circumstances?
Nothing I've seen.
And so you can make a resolve investigation if you would like to try and spot anything unusual.
Okay. Sad resolve. Sad resolve is sad.
Got successes on all your dice.
I did! Yay.
There's nothing particularly out of the ordinary. The fact that Bryan was here to watch over the car may have been a very good idea, given that you've been kind of concerned about this Harrison fellow and his dabbling in your domain, as well as the vagueness of the incidents of what happened with Jude that Noel's mentioned before in passing. And so when you all climb into the car, there is nothing out of the ordinary, and you're free to speak as you will.
All right. You told me a bit about this Jude individual, but what's the full? Give me the deets, the gossip.
Well, let's start with the good part of it first. Charles, luckily, is no longer in the hospital. His injuries were minor, and he is at home recovering, and he should be back to proper state within a couple of weeks or so.
That's good.
Charles's injuries, however, were Jude's fault.
Really?
Something to do, I believe, Jude tried to feed on him. And may have very sloppily applied a particular ability Magisters are known for. In fact, you share such an ability, as far as I'm aware.
Oh boy. That's not good.
As such, given actions that had occurred, Jude has been declared persona non grata in our domain. If he comes back, he is going to die.
So I'm to the end.
And it gets worse.
Good buddy.
Jude has also been discovered to be now unknown, at the very least, adherents to the principles of the cult of Shalim.
Bryan, it gets a little under your skin that Noel is talking negatively about Jude right now.
Cult of Shalim is a cult of nihilism that worships the void. A representation of the darkness that those, particularly of Clan La Sombra, wield as a signature.
Faust, you know that Mr. Wilford despises La Sombra.
Sombra, huh?
Yes. Mr. Walker is a member of the Clan of Magisters. And, as I said, Maria can corroborate this, has been declared persona non grata in our domain. If he returns, he's going to die.
Seems like he was trying to establish some footing while he was here. He's been removed.
Yes. He was chased off.
Well then. Chased off will do for now. What we can go ahead and do is make sure that law operation established digs any sort of claws into it.
Best, I think. But, also, Faust, just as a just as a note, it's probably not the best idea for me to be debating religion with men of the cloth.
No. You don't enjoy that particular
I happen to be rather critical of the Abrahamic religions, of which Christianity is one. The last thing I...
If you're looking for debate, find a rabbi.
See, you'd be right, but also, that's its own can of worms. Trust me.
Supposedly we all come from Cain. But we're gonna debate Abrahamic religion. I'm supposing some of it has some truth. Some.
Well, if that particular creationist myth is to be believed, there are multiple. Some in the ministry like to believe we descend from Set. Yes, of Egyptian mythological fame. There are others still who believe that we descend from Lilith, first wife of Adam. There's a lot that could be gone into, and those are just the big three. That doesn't include the multitude of smaller and more obscure methods of creationism that exist within kindred lore. I'll put it.
Well, Mr. Stoneford, given that I have absolutely no faith or belief in any of these systems, but the fact that little trinket that Maria wears around her neck and a lot of the iconography inside the church have a effect on me, lend some credence that there must be some truth to at least some of these myths.
Well, there is a...
And I've never been to church, have no belief, foundation, thought. If you gotta get technical, the only beliefs I have are from the Far East.
There are discrepancies in the blood sometimes. Sometimes aversions and other such things can manifest seemingly out of nowhere, and it's what gives birth to the things you hear in folklore, like vampires not being able to enter our home unless it cross the boundary of a home unless invited, or can't eat garlic, or are repelled by symbols of faith, usually crucifixes, or can't cross bodies of running water, and other such things.
The symbols of religious iconography is typically only by those who are truly faithful, who actually have faith.
Wow.
For me, it doesn't seem to matter whether or not you have a lick of faith or not, just the fact that you have that symbol.
Perhaps it's got less to do with you personally, Bryan, and more to do with the blood that you
I'm only saying that there must be some truth to this.
Well,
however you want to quantify it.
ST,
Mm-hmm.
would I be able to make an intelligence occult concerning truth, the existence of true faith?
It's a high
Just
difficulty.
to see if I've read anything.
It's a high difficulty, but you can roll it. Given how rare true faith is.
Just to see if I've even like remotely heard something about it. Oh, that's a messy crit. Okay, I'm gonna spend some willpower right now.
Yeah, you're kind of out in the open in a car. Okay.
That'll turn it to 4.
4 successes. So, the research that you have done, as far as like the different myths that have come up about vampires and their banes, all having some degree of truth based on the individual curse, it all okay. Well, Noel has to step away for a moment.
We can have a short. Oh no! Wait, he's back.
He's back.
There he is.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to go unlock the door for my housemate.
Okay. But as you've read through those stories, you know, the fiction that has been derived from the different banes that you're aware of for kindred based on their unique curse, you have in that fiction found that the truly faithful have been able to repel vampires in fiction. Now, whether that has some degree of truth to it, you're not certain. You've never encountered something like that. And based on the experience of your sire, she's never gone into something like that either, as far as discussion. So mechanically, you're not aware that true faith actually exists, but you've heard of
Exists.
such things in fiction, so maybe there is some truth to it.
Hmm. Well, regarding that, there are things that I have heard and read in fiction and whatnot, and it is exceptionally strange how reality seems so much stranger than fiction these days. But there are those who are simply repelled by the presence of such of an object of faith, and then there are even those who do not bear such a curse, being repelled by those sorts of things anyway. And I can't say that whether this is true or not, but there may be something in faith, the power of belief, but I couldn't tell you for sure. It's not something I've ever really looked into with any major amount of fervor, and it's not even something that I've discussed with my sire at length. Although it's a topic that I could bring up next time I talk to her, I suppose, to see if she knows anything. But it's not, at the very least, folklore-wise, it's not unheard of.
It's very informative. I'm almost threatened by the idea that if anything was, say, someone holding up to any of, and it just burning any single one of us, that doesn't seem ideal. But not that it's anything to worry about. It's a thought for sure, but haven't seen it. Instead, what we have seen is the gun that turned on fire.
Let's start dealing with what we know first. When we're in a position where we don't have to end up worrying about that, then we could probably start with speculation.
Ideally. Maria, do you remember, what was his name? Dave?
I got his number, so to speak.
I think David Ramirez would really be appreciative and perhaps even be willing to volunteer in this food drive. We could see if he has any suggestions.
I'll speak with him tonight. I've got to end up going by Sammy. So, drop me off by Sammy's place and, well, drop me off in the neighborhood. We'll handle the rest. What do you need specifically? What do they need is what you need to know, but anything else.
Yes.
You
Specifically,
want
I'm
me to take one home?
only if it feeds you.
I'm talking about you right now.
I don't have a particular need at the moment. I'm satisfied. Anyone else in the vehicle in need of refreshment?
Yeah, I could do with it, actually.
Alright. Let's do a quick hunting trip and then we'll go off.
So you headed back to your own neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Or not that the church isn't in your neighborhood anyway.
Closer inside the neighborhood.
So who's all hunting?
I have no
I
particular need of it.
will do some hunting myself.
Okay.
I will assist Mr. Stoneford.
Okay.
He needs someone to do the people thing, then I will do the thing.
I'll stay with the car while they go hunt.
Okay.
Because I'm of no particular help to Maria when she hunts.
I'm looking at doing a very particular thing.
All right.
So I'm going to need to hunt in a way that is not bagger. Because right now I'm looking for resonance.
Ooh. Maria's going on a hunt.
I believe it's chase 5, so I need one more, correct?
Yeah, you would.
Alright. I am going to spend a willpower.
You are only on 1 hunger, so you're hunting for yourself?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Damn. Empty-handed again.
And Noel, how are you
Oh.
going about this?
I am thinking I am going to use one of the alley cat rolls with streetwise. Look for a
Ooh.
look for a criminal.
Let me see. I want to assist, but I'm not sure if I have. Let me check.
Yeah, if Faust doesn't have Streetwise, then he's not really much help here.
I have 0 streetwise. I am no help.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have brawl or melee?
Brawl or melee? No. I have athletics.
That's not going to be much help to Noel.
Yeah.
Noel,
It's not
you're
going to be
kind of
much
on
help
your
to
own.
me. Well, I mean, he can stay and help just in case something goes awry.
He can be around, for sure.
All right. Yeah. I'll be nearby.
He'll be nearby, but he's
Um,
not much help in the way that you're feeding.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna go with a streetwise roll then.
All right.
Black market does not help me here. Wow. Okay. I'm going to willpower.
Okay.
2 dice. I'm looking for 2 successes, please. That'll make it a crit though. So that'll be 6.
That will be 6. So you do find someone. It looks like there was just a recent handoff. Of what, you're not sure. But you know that they're handing off something and they're in the dark. So it's just a matter of the two of them parting, you following one of them down further into the dark alleyway, stalking,
Silence of death.
and eventually you creep up on your prey and bite down into that vein. And it's interesting, this flavor. You're pretty sure that this person's high.
Uh-oh.
It's only then that you start to realize that they were the one that got handed product,
And I just used it.
Potentially.
At the very least, it hasn't fully metabolized into the bloodstream yet, so the effects on me may or may not be
Well, depending on
present.
how strong your resonance is, let's find out.
I'm
Because I'm
thinking
gonna
$2
link
a
it.
hot.
I'm gonna link it to the resonance strength.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so this is going to be at least intense. So you need to roll another D10 for me.
It's
That's
intense.
just intense.
It's
Just
intense.
intense.
And the high that they're on. Oh man, this is some strong shit.
What
You're
kind
not
of,
100%.
What kind of resonance?
How type of resonance? Let's see.
Because I mean, if they're taking a substance, it's probably been force locked into something while they're high.
Yeah. I'm gonna say phlegmatic. They're on a downer.
Calming.
They're on a calming. Possibly heroin. You're not certain. You're not familiar 100% with the drug market or what certain drugs do to a person's body. But
I mean, an intelligence medicine.
But you're fairly certain it's a downer, and they're they're wanting that kiss that you're giving them to on drugs. You're probably giving them the most euphoric experience that they have ever witnessed right now. And so they just melt into your arms and let it happen.
After I finish feeding,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just gently place them against the wall, allow them to kind of come down off their own merit. Kind of just shaking it off, but there's a sense of focus, almost unnaturally so. Noel kind of just shakes his head. Right, that was. His pupils are probably dilated.
Oh, yeah. They've dilated to the fact where you think that you've accidentally switched on your heightened senses. But as far as you can tell, that's not the case.
Yeah, I'm not hearing the hum of electricity, among other things.
Mm-mm.
And
You just feel really good right now.
Noel kind of walks back over to Faust.
Everything goes swimmingly?
He had something in his system.
Oh, so it's a party tonight for you. And Faust just pats him on the back.
It's like it was a depressant. So now I feel just calm. Calmer than I've felt in a while. And
Hey. I'm happy for you, bud.
Noel just kind of looks at him. I'm not that far gone.
Oh.
I think. Medicine was never my strong suit.
Would it be bad if I said I'm almost hoping you are? Just because it'd be fun.
I would not be exceptionally surprised.
Alright. Don't worry. Faust dangles his keys. I'm DD.
I'm going to consider, since you're on a drug, Noel, for the time being, until your next feeding, You were considered +1 to mental rolls and -1 to physical rolls. As a result of this high.
Okay. It's actually better than what I was expecting.
Adderall, baby.
How
It's,
many rolls do we have to check before we end up realizing that he has to end up gaining the new addict flaw?
He is walking with a little bit of a stumble, but not terribly.
I'll try not to get us pulled over.
He's maybe
Why
walking
don't
like
you
he's a
drive?
little tipsy.
Why don't you drive fast?
Already on it.
Wonderful. Being a buddy and a pal, as you are.
What are you on, Noel? You seemed like Maria earlier.
Some kind of depressant. I don't know. Let's see, street depressants.
Heroin? Meth? Oxycontin?
Well, meth is a stimulant. That much I do know. I'm sure with a 5 dice
More
pool,
likely
taking half would be
Oxycontin or
able to be
heroin,
like,
then.
yeah. It's like, yeah, oxy, heroin. Maybe someone stole some morphine from the hospital or something. Because that's a thing that happens. People like
Yeah.
morphine.
Yeah, because you don't give a shit about the pain no more.
Now that you're all settled up, I suppose at this point we should probably.
Take Maria to see Sammy.
Yes.
What else were we doing tonight?
I was thinking you and I could go on a walk, Brian. Haven't had a chance to
Sure,
catch up too much.
sure. We can
Excellent.
do that.
All right. And with that, take Maria to, well, just drop her off wherever Maria says she needs to be at, and after that, head back to the coterie house.
All right. So Maria's going to China Grove to go visit with Sammy. Faust and Bryan are going to go for a walk through the neighborhood. What is Noel going to be up to?
Noel, now having drugs in his system, has probably decided, rather wisely, that he's gonna stay home and do research because physical things are currently just a little bit compromised. He probably realizes that his hand-eye coordination is probably slightly shot, and you know, him being outside means there's a chance of you know, a small chance of physical combat, and he's gonna try and just reduce that to 0 by staying at home with his books like a nerd.
I suppose in that
He's just
case,
like, I shouldn't be outside. It's a bad idea.
I suppose in that case we are going to take a quick break, everyone, and we'll be back to see Faust and Bryan catch up a bit. Noel do some research, and Maria go have a wonderful conversation with her mola. So we'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath, Season 2, Episode 16. We pick up with Bryan and Faust going through the neighborhood after having spoken with Father Renfield and doing their minor part in helping Noel successfully feed. And now Faust has taken Bryan aside and decided a quick little jaunt through the neighborhood, or stroll, or however it is you want to frame it, would provide them with some fresh air and maybe some catching up time. You know, no hard feelings at all. So the two of you are perusing through the neighborhood. You don't see many in the way of people out and about, since it is getting close to midnight at this point. And many homes only have maybe 1 or 2 lights on inside. Seems like anyone who might be up this late at night are probably the ones who generally are up this late. But shutters are closed, blinds are closed. No one wants anyone else looking in.
Alright, I'll be keeping a very vigilant eye on the surroundings after what he was told happened with Noel, Maria, Angel, and Jude. And Veronica.
Well,
What's on your mind, Faust?
mostly just trying to understand where everyone is at. I've spoken quite a bit with Mr. Stoneford and had his expertise during my little period of education. Along with that, Maria is guarded. Guarded as ever, is what I would want to say, but before it was nervousness, often shaken up.
I didn't hear anything about what you said. Please do not speak and move at the same time. It was just
Me?
loud noise, yes.
Yeah. What'd you just say?
I said she does have quite a bit more on her mind, and I have no idea what noise you just heard, because I didn't hear anything.
A small typhoon. Yeah. It's beginning to worry me.
Well, what's worrying?
Maria's disposition. Her grip on things. You say something. You spoke about how Nicole has changed. And I've seen Nicole changed before. In very subtle ways, but.
It ain't so subtle no more.
That's what worries me. That said, I didn't come here to necessarily talk Maria or Mr. Stoneford. I came here to talk about you, Bryan. I don't know you. I don't know you too well. What I did learn of you is that you're a strong son of a bitch, that's for sure. Dangerous and fierce. I don't hate that.
Aren't we all?
True.
Maybe not in the same way, but we all have our strengths and weaknesses. We all have our advantages with the blood.
We do.
What would you like to know?
I'm understanding you don't have any further clue, comprehension of where you come from. I don't
That
believe.
has been corrected. And that'll be a conversation best had back at the coterie house. At least that line of it, anyway.
It's good to know. When did that change? Just recently.
Shortly after you took your departure for training, teaching, was it?
That's correct.
Yeah. Shortly after you left. Took your sabbatical.
How do you feel about it? Where you come from?
Answers a question. It answers a question, but only one. And I guess I'll just have to get used to the idea that I'll never have any more answers than that.
It's always a struggle.
And I will warn you, it is not to be shared outside of our house. Those that need to know do outside of our house. Beyond that, nobody else need know.
There's a lot of things about you quite dangerous. Starting to learn that.
If things had gone the way they were supposed to, I guess it would have been a little bit more so.
One of the events the past few nights.
There's a lot going on. Be honest with you, I feel pulled in so many different directions at once. It's hard to tell where I end and the rest of it begins.
It's understandable. There's a lot to take from it, a lot to navigate. I have come to find that the best way to approach things is really just designate it the boundaries of those things yourself. You end where you end. And everything else, well, preferably doesn't have to be.
That's not necessarily true. Especially when you're talking about blood bonding.
Do you feel pulled in these many different... because of that?
I don't know. I suppose it's a big part of it, but I don't know.
What do you know?
I know we're in way over our heads with this shit that Noel stirred up. Things that have been said that have come back. Baron Jameson has no faith in any of us, and, well, never really did, but Noel running around telling everybody he can about what's going on shows a lack of faith. Makes it appear like nobody trusts Baron Jameson to take care of what he's supposed to take care of. He has reasons for keeping what he's kept to himself. This weapon that we've been looking for, the maker, not just the weapon, but if anyone else got their hands on it, from what Jameson said, starts an arms race between the baronies that none of us can survive. The damage that it can do, you know full well what it's capable of. You took the brunt of that, to my understanding. Imagine some kindred decides in their head they're just going to start mass producing this. What are the streets going to turn into then? What unsuspecting bystander is going to lose their house to a fire created by a weapon that does nothing but spew fire and engulf whatever is shot? What if it was somebody you care about, or yourself? Jameson rightfully kept this to himself. I understand that now. Why did nobody in our coterie, before reaching out to someone else, not come to this man, whom we are supposed to be living under his auspices in this domain, have our domain in his?
Initially, it was complicated.
It's all complicated. And like I said with the earlier question, provides only more questions and fewer answers.
It's true. It's a shame.
However, Jameson did say we were free to continue that search on our own if we so choose.
Is that search something you would want to continue?
Seems pretty important to everybody else in the house. Until tonight, that is, with Maria. It seems pretty damned important to her, too. As far as the rest of it, I don't really know.
Maria has always been concerned first and foremost about surviving the night. And that is, generally speaking, what she does best.
Survival for some of us is all that there is. There's got to be something more than just surviving. Because if you're just surviving, you're not thriving. And if you're not thriving, you're not growing.
My thoughts precisely. So, Bryan, you can be eschewed.
And as you say that, you hear him say whip. outside of the house. The people that need to know. No. Everybody else will know whip.
Okay, Whip. That said, it can be eschewed. One thing I understand that I have a grave need for is food. The terms and conditions for such are rather complicated, yet seem to serve ultimately the best function. I have this idea. If we make this place equally attractive to smaller, more needing groups, then you, as the guardian of this domain, one of the many guardians, would very much be able to collect taxation or, say, rent from those of thinner castes who would want to feed on our domain. That's what I want to build for you. That's based off of what I understand your needs are.
Yeah.
So what I'm out for right now, what I'm trying to seek, is to understand your wants. Everyone has a say in this, but I hardly hear you speak.
I don't really say much unless there's something that needs to be said. So you want, if I understand you right, you want to know my desires, as Maria said, my 5-year plan?
If we want to grow, then it needs to be a collaborative effort. I need to know where we're going with this. What goals we're trying to achieve.
Like Maria, I want to build this place up, make it ours, make it our domain. I want to improve it, improve the conditions. I see how hard it is for the rest of y'all to hunt. The more of these attacks, what seemed like it was getting better, everybody's all shuttered in, cloistered. Nobody ever leaves sight of someone else. They moving around in packs. Makes it harder for y'all. The security of this domain. The members of this coterie that are here, that are still part of this coterie, are all that I am concerned with. Their safety, their security, their ability to hunt and feed. Even you, Faust. Working with you, giving you the skills that you need to be able to protect yourself in a fight. Those are the things that I desire. I don't want much for myself. I don't have need of much for myself.
Very well. And I suppose the course continues.
If it continues this way, it's only going to get worse.
No. I think it's best we start swimming a different direction, of course.
I hear tell my family motto back in Scotland is we increase by swimming against the tide.
You'd think that, but I feel like that's almost exclusively what we've done as a coterie up until this point. It's not working.
Well, when you're a black sheep, how can you be anything else?
True. Out of character. Has Bryan changed his face back yet?
No.
Ah. Foster's just gonna stare at Bryan for a second and then be like, I like the renovations, by the way. Looks good.
Thank Maria for that. I just provided the base materials, if what she says is true.
Curiosity. Do you know where Nicole is
According to
now?
Veronica, it's a bit like sculpting. We're saying I'm sorry.
No, Veronica.
Yeah, Veronica.
Mr. Stoneford told me that was Maria's sire. Correct.
That would be correct.
See, as it stands, I can't help but notice there's a lot of other individuals imposing area. It seems to be a common feature, actually. All the more reason it'd be good to make sure everything is built up in our first. Then whatever extra pieces you want, I'm gonna have to pay for by some means. As much as I'm like pulling together the charity drive, giving the doubts. Ironic.
Beyond this charity thing, the only other thing I know that talked about or looked into, well, not necessarily even looked into, but Maria wanting to start up a gym, something local. Make the people feel safer, give them a place where they can come and work out. Maybe offer some night classes for those wanting to learn some self-defense.
I believe I've been informed that once.
I don't really know much else.
Maybe we can pull this together. That said, what sort of resources do you have? Do you have anyone you know? People who offer services, skills?
At the moment, beyond myself and the skills I have, those are the only resources I have available. Having to move here from Dallas with that hullabaloo there has left everyone I know or could turn to pretty much in the same situation that I am. Starting over, having to rebuild.
I understand that, actually. It was a similar position. Rough exit. But we'll go ahead and try and make the most of this situation.
If you require any assistance, that's pretty much all I can provide.
It's appreciated. Well, I think we should head back to the house. Make sure Mr. Stoneford hasn't cut off his hands or anything. I'm not sure what's in his system.
And with that, we're going to switch scenes. Maria, you have been dropped off at a particular convenience store nearby where Samantha makes her haven. And walking through the streets of this particular domain, you know that it is significantly different from the way that yours is looking so far. At least the feel of it, anyway. It feels homier. And maybe that has to do with Sammy's disposition. But you walk towards the place where she calls haven, give a knock on the door, and you do see her greeting you there. Hi.
Hey, Sammy.
It's been a little bit. Won't you come in?
Thank you. She steps on it.
And
Looks over at Sammy. Go ahead.
And she ushers you into the house, closing the door behind you, and kind of motions to the living room where there is a light on overhead, a fan going.
Thought I am coming in to check up on you and, well, see how things were.
Things are fine here. You don't look so good.
If I keep saying that, would you like me to change it?
No, you're fine. It's just unusual. You have less color to your skin right now. Didn't used to be the case when you were living with me, I guess, but
I don't know. I wouldn't know what to even start thinking about on that one. She probably takes a minute to kind of look at her reflection, either in a window or maybe there's a hallway mirror.
yeah, there's a hallway mirror.
Huh. Well, would you look at that? Interesting.
What's been going on with you?
Oh, a lot.
Such as?
Half of my crew are running around like as if they had chickens with their heads cut off, and most of them don't have the good sense to end up minding their own. So I've been brought hither and thither, dragged, beaten so bad that I was convinced I'm gonna never walk again. And that's Cole's notes.
I see.
But I figure you might be interested in getting a little something. I do know on how you like to know what's going on.
That's true. I make it a habit of being nosy.
So figure I might end up asking your help for a little bit of info.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to pay me anything to ask me
Sammy.
for help for something.
Sammy. It's not a matter of payment, it's, I don't know. You keeping in the know is how you got around so good. Figure a little bit of a heads up, an even trade, do some good around, might end up being, I don't know.
Talk to me, Maria. What's going on?
My sire is inside of the whole domain.
Veronica's back.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And you notice she gets a bit tense. You remember that Sam had been captured by Veronica.
I'm gonna tell you to stay out of the domain for a couple of nights while I get this whole thing sorted.
Maria, she killed Diego.
Yeah, I know. Killed me too.
Skylar still hasn't let it go. Skylar finds out that Veronica's in your domain, she's going to hunt you down.
Well, then I think it's just important that I end up making sure that these 3 nights stay quiet. But like I said, I want you to end up knowing, keep things on the quieter side. Worse still, caitiff named Jude dropped by. Turned out that they were there to cause all merry mayhem Apparently, no figures they end up causing a car accident, potential botch feeding or something like that. But worse still, they were must using our good nature to start muscling in. You know what? Their sire apparently, what do they call themselves? Angel. Ended up mustering around.
Angel.
Apparently, a lot of blood, bad blood between them. Veronica and Angel.
I see.
So that's why I'm doing this right now.
Okay. So I should just steer clear.
I came to you.
I appreciate that.
Skylar, I never want to ever let something happen. You've been good to me. And I never want to end up making sure that you regret that.
I don't at all. You've been good to me too, Maria. You're not like other kindred that just look down on me like I'm some kind of trash. I'm only useful. I'm not real, though.
Who said that to you last time?
They're
Who
thinking
was it?
aren't they?
Who said it?
Marjani makes it very clear that I'm not a real kindred.
I think I'm done tiptoeing around. I think I've hit my point.
What do you mean?
When enough is enough. Tried being kind, I've tried being orderly. And I've always felt a great sense of emptiness in me, Sammy. A great sense of empty. And I had a moment earlier tonight. And I realized that I am more than capable. I am wanting to push it so far. And I'm just trying to make a measured response. My mind's a whirl with, well, possibilities. When it comes down to it, I want to make it very clear that you're not to be touched. If somebody is coming after you, if somebody says anything that you might find disrespectful, I'm gonna make sure that they know they can't do that anymore. You're being bottom of the barrel, so to speak. Those days are over.
Maria, what are you getting at?
I think me and Marjani are gonna have a little talk, is all.
in your eyes is scaring me.
Scaring you, Sam? Why would you be scared of me? Have I ever done anything to you? Have I ever done anything so much as raise my voice to you in anger?
No.
You were so kind and sweet to me, and I'm scaring you.
A little bit. You're talking about... You're insinuating. I don't know if you're explicitly saying anything like that, but you're insinuating that you're gonna go after Marjani?
I'm gonna lay down the rule.
And if she doesn't like what you have to say?
Well, she can take it up with the Baron if she wants. But I think I got an inkling. See. More importantly, I see it now. I know how to make myself whole again.
Oh.
You wake up every night and you feel the hunger. You feel something else, don't you? The sense of being trapped, a sense of nothing will ever be quite right again. And I've felt that for as long as I've walked these nights. But now, for at least the briefest of moments, I don't feel that no more. And I'm gonna take it upon myself to end up going and do what need to be done. Right now, no one listening to you, looking down on you, Sammy, that I will not tolerate. Not no more.
I mean, Marjani brought me up in the ministry.
Did she?
She
Or
was...
does she just keep you around because, well, what's the thin blood going to do? You said it yourself that you're not real kindred. You believe that? I don't. Not for 1 second do I believe that.
I don't know how to change anyone else's minds.
Let me worry about that.
I've been embraced for nearly, what's it now, 7 years?
Yeah. And they got you hold up here, right?
Not that I'm complaining all that much. Could be better, but it could be worse. I Could be like other thin bloods who have nowhere else to go.
Thought Sanctuary was supposed to be a place for that.
Yeah, but they've recently stopped taking anyone.
Well, it changed.
I don't know. Maybe overpopulated? It's becoming increasingly something that this whole city has to deal with. There's a lot of kindred here. And that's not including the ones that may or may not still exist. So many refugees from Dallas. Used to pride the city as being a haven city, but that was before all that went down with the Camarilla last year.
I understand. So how about we head out? After all, you did say I'm looking very sickly. Probably wouldn't be good for me suddenly carrying, 100 pounds worth of groceries.
It does make me worried about you, though. You're losing pieces of yourself, aren't you?
I've been losing pieces of myself since day one, Sammy.
But it's only gotten worse.
What am I supposed to end up doing then, Sammy? Lock myself away in some far-off castle? Am I supposed to hide in a basement cellar and pray I don't have to come out? Right now, my coterie, my crew, is so focused on this Inquisition nonsense at this point that they haven't even seen their own front yard. Only one of us is keeping an eye on the porch right now. They're worried about other things that are going off, so somebody's got to be up front. And you heard what was happening. I'm sure you heard whispers. People moving in that bring what? Muggins, drugs, unwashed masses, and don't know how to find the good apples out of the bad. There's some people are living in absolute squalor and end up here being terrified of those that they have to end up bunking with in order to stay warm.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Well, somebody's got to do it. So we're going to start. If I find out who it is that's causing more issues, well, they won't be an issue no more. See, one way or another, they'll provide a service to our little community. I want to make sure no one has to end up going hungry. And I see a small plant. I want to try it small scale, see how it turns out.
Mm.
And if it works, we'll see on if it scales, I think is the term Faust.
Mm.
But right now I need proof of concept, so to speak.
Right.
So, going back to it. You up for a grocery run?
Sure.
Appreciate it. Maria starts walking down the hallway. And she looks in the mirror just briefly. It's strange. She knows what Samantha sees. Why Samantha is worried. But there's a strange part of her that likes Sammy being a little afraid. Just that little bit unnerved. That's a new one, she thinks to herself. She walks out the door.
And Sam gets in her car with you, and you drive off to the local grocery store. And she spends some time before closing grabbing this and that's for the different things that you want for the drive, the food drive.
And I'll end up using the coterie resource for that.
Okay. Couple $100 means that money's a little tight for the coterie at this point for the month, but nothing you can't weather by being a little frugal.
Not like I'm gonna have to worry about that.
Right. So what is all of this for exactly?
Gotta go see a man. Gotta deal with him. He lets me know what's up.
Mm.
I make sure he and his people stay fed.
Mm. I see. Kind of not unlike what I do.
In a way.
Except,
These are not good people, Sammy.
neither are mine, when you think about it. Not when they're paying you for sex.
I'm gonna end up making it a point to... You know what? If you're wanting us to stick around for this, I understand. But if you also want to drive away, call it a night, I won't blame you. Because these kinds of people, you may not like what you're gonna see.
In for a penny.
Not your pennies being spent.
Still.
Alright?
I'm the one who stood up for you. This is what you're building, so might as well see what fruits have come of it. And so, where are you headed?
We're heading over to where Dave typically camps out,
Mm-hmm.
where I told him not to end up starting to move camp.
All right. So you make your way towards that section of the streets. And you do see that a small camp that he has fostered has been relatively, relatively pleasant. They haven't made a mess, they haven't made a fuss. They're
Good.
just taking their existence one day at a time.
Pull up to the encampment close enough that I can always keep an eye on my truck. Lock it. Start walking over. Now you let me do the talking, Sammy. You just keep eyes in the back of your head. Keep an eye on the truck. Somebody's going to do something stupid. Just take it as a guarantee.
All right. And so she
Stop walking.
hangs back a little bit, letting you walk forward.
Start walking towards David. Hey, David.
How you doing?
Been doing pretty good. Very good. I told you we'd talk again, and I told you I'd deliver.
That you did.
Well, you want good news first or bad news?
I suppose it doesn't particularly matter. You choose.
I've only accounted for a few of some of the problems starting to kick up in the hood.
Hmm.
You see, remember how I said I like things quiet? I like people to not be nervous.
Right.
Yeah. That didn't go so well now, did it? I'm sure you heard near things, you seen things.
I've heard a couple things. I've seen a couple things.
Alright. You kept things here quiet on clean on this end. I like it. I like it a lot, David. So, that part,
People
I'll
get
give you
unruly. I just tell them to move on.
good. That's what I'm here for. I want to know who these unruly individuals are. Who it is that might have somehow came across wallet or some jewelry, maybe a fancy new watch, pawned it off. I want the names, David.
Well, I don't have any information like that. But there has been this little blue-haired kid. Been kind of creeping around.
Around here?
Offering jobs.
Offering jobs? What kind of jobs?
Hard labor. Apparently it's pretty lucrative. Some people haven't come back.
Anybody know where this job site is?
Not particularly. They didn't really say. They just gave their number and left.
Gave the number and left. Well, David, if somebody comes around like that again, makes such an offer, she scrolls a number.
I've been warning
And
people to stay away from it. It stinks to high heaven like human trafficking.
no doubt it is, which bothers me heavily. I'm sure you can see it all over my face. I've made it a point that I am not using Blush of Life right now.
Hmm. It's uneasy, but he's not not looking you in the eyes.
I know that he was a former ghoul,
Mm,
so he knows what I am. I know what he is.
yeah.
That's alright.
People disappearing, not coming back after a day's hard work. When you got nothing left, you got no house, you got no paycheck, you got no credit. It stinks.
Well, therein comes in, like I said, the bad news. I need to start cleaning this mess up proper. For that, I need names. I need locations. I need to know who the problem elements are. If somebody wants to end up pulling a day's work for a day's pay, if somebody wants to end up finding a way to end up getting the resources to end up getting their stuff together, I want that provided. I want winners, David.
Mm.
You're old enough to know how to pick them. You're too old for hard labor right now, so we gotta end up finding a way to end up situating yourself better. What I'm proposing, David,
Mm.
is a do-over.
A do-over.
That's right.
Meaning what exactly? Like, because some can't get work because of their record.
That's right. I'm proposing you have a do-over.
Huh. Clean slate kind of shit.
That's right.
And how do I know that this isn't some kind of racket like that too?
Because bluntly, you've already seen what I did to your friend's face. So when I say I can give you a clean slate, David, I'd rather you not insult both of our intelligences.
I meant nothing by it.
Might also end up saying that unlike your other individual, I come through on my promises, David. And I've done a lot of things, a lot of horrible things, I can tell you that. But I've also always kept my word. And
You've been pretty good about it so far.
so I'm asking, if you can have a chance to do it all over again, knowing what you know now, would you do it?
Probably. Pretty sure that there's a couple of people around here who'd probably give that a shot.
I can't promise it's going to work out for you, David. I can only promise that I can give you the chance. You don't have a lot of years left on you. Mileage is pretty high.
Yeah, it caught up with me pretty quickly.
So I'm going to ask, because you know how this works. And I brought a friend here to bear witness to the offer, because she's always kept me on the straight and narrow. What do you figure? 30 years. 30 years of a chance to end up doing it all over again. Maybe save your soul.
I would suppose so.
She starts to gesture to David to go to a place where it's darker.
Mm-hmm.
And gestures for Sammy to just wait by the truck or wait by the truck, but Maria's not going to go so far as she can't hear Sammy if anything bad happens.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to end up reaching over to David. Kind of caress the old furry beard. Kind of reminds me of Grandpa. He had the same kind of hair. And then I bite into my own wrist. And I gesture for it, the smallest swelling of blood that I'm forcing up.
And you can tell that he smells it, and he kind of looks at it longingly.
Go ahead, David. I can't turn you young again, but at least I can stop it.
That's fair enough. That's kind of what caught up with me.
Figured as much. It's told that your type, they don't get it right, they go bad real quick. Time just decides to fast forward back to where you should.
Yep. Thankfully, it wasn't fast forward to dead.
It will the next time. You got borrowed time now. So, go ahead. This is our contract. You are mine. And in doing so, I will do all I can to at least give you a shot at life again.
All right. And he, in weathered, calloused hands, but with a gentle grip, pulls your wrist toward his mouth and begins to lick at the wound.
I am going to use... First thing I'm going to do is I am going to rouse to give him a rouse point worth.
Okay. So you're officially ghouling
Again. Yep. But I'm not going to use Domitor's favor.
All right.
I'm going to actually hold off on that.
All right. So in ghouling David Ramirez, you are going to take 1 stain.
All right.
But with the application of a full rouse check of blood, he does become your ghoul. With all of the benefits that would entail.
David.
Mm.
That's enough, David. That's enough.
And he backs away as soon as you say it.
Lick the wound clean. You know, the advantage to this relationship is I don't need to explain much to you. And you don't have to worry about spending years trying to piecemeal it together.
No, I've
Let's
been
make
down
the
this
most.
road before.
Good. What were some of the problems you ran into last time?
Problems I ran into.
Last person that was giving you a fix, what was the problems now that you had a clear head?
He was vain for an ugly fella. Always wearing like bushy fur coats, and at least I think it was a fur coat. But he was not kind.
I can't always be kind either.
I get
That's
it.
the nature of what I am.
I get it. But
I'm going to give you a few days, David. Sort out what you need to sort out. You're not leaving this community just yet. I need you leading like you are. But, can do. And I am going to rouse.
success.
And I'm going to place my hands on them. And I'm going to begin to fleshcraft.
Oh, I just looked at his character sheet. He already has Downwatter's favor on him.
Oh, right. So this would make us 2 dot.
It would be a 2-dot blood bond, yes.
Yeah.
Oh. How lowdy.
Oh. I'm gonna willpower.
There's a 0 in that hunger dice. There's a 10 in that
I
hunger
know.
dice.
I know, but I can willpower 2 of those 2 in the normal.
Oh, yeah. Just to
To
add additional successes. All right.
No, not to. I'm specifically removing the 2 10s
Oh.
in my normal.
Oh.
I'm specifically dodging the crit.
Oh, okay. Okay. I get you. I get you now.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's more than enough.
Yep, that's enough.
So I'm gonna do. Most of this is gonna be cosmetic. But I am basically going to take a little bit out of his stamina since I don't have to worry about him dying anytime soon. At least not of hunger or anything like that.
Before you consider that, he doesn't have much in the way of physical dice. He has a 1 dot in all physical. So you would know that he's fairly frail to begin with, so there's not much to work with. So I'll allow you to nix.
This will be cosmetic. Primarily.
Okay. Cosmetic then. Okay.
So what I'm effectively doing, I can't give him beautiful. There's not enough stuff to work with. But I am going to purposely reduce him by a few years. I'm going to clean him up a little bit.
Take some of the wear and tear off of him.
Just as a point of promise.
Yeah. And when you finish, he notices that the skin on his hands are a little less weathered. The calluses are a little less prevalent. The years of wrinkles and sun damage on his face has been reduced. Kind of touches his skin a little bit. Not that his beard has changed shape very much, but kind of
no point in giving him color yet.
Mm-hmm. And he just kind of looks at that. The things that your type can do boggles my mind.
The good news doesn't end there.
Oh,
Get a few of your friends over to the truck. I got something for you.
all right. And he kind of whistles, and a couple of the younger lads come out from their little sleeping places, and he instructs them to follow him.
And when I do, I'm gonna start unloading everything. $100 well spent on the grind. Can at least feed a couple dozen people for a night. If
Mhm.
they're sparing, might be able to do 2 nights. And I'd say this is all thanks to David. Give him a hero's goodbye. Think. Hell, maybe even Sammy gets in the giving spirit of things. And while they're all looking over the food and maybe one or two thank yous, don't expect. Lean over David's ear.
Mhm.
I feed you, and you feed me all the rotten apples.
Understood.
You have a few nights. The sooner I get fed, the quicker we can make this.
And he nods. And
Right.
makes his way with the other two with the groceries in hand. Back to their little camp.
Get in the truck. Start driving. I don't say anything, I just, on occasion, take a glance at Sammy in the rearview mirror. Start driving her home.
I think that was a nice thing.
Nice and kind had nothing to do with it.
Maybe not. It still was. Feed them. When was the last time you did something kind for the sake of it?
I brought a father and son together. After years of being apart. Then they both tried to kill me again. I welcomed a stranger into my home, and they decided to hospitalize a member of my community with seemingly no provocation other than, hey, what does it matter? I try to look past the fact that one of my closest allies has a particular penchant comes down to their needs. And yet every single time I'm wondering, is this the night I'm gonna not wake up? Because he keeps talking, making me wonder. Every act of kindness I have ever indulged has always ended up ending it up the same way. It destroys me on the inside.
I'm sorry to hear that.
What predators, Sammy? Instinctual predators. Curse that was given by God unto Cain and passed on to us. We are forsaken by him. And when I try and end up doing what's right by the good book, I haven't been to a Bible study in months. I missed church for the first time since the night I died. And I don't think I have the hesitancy anymore. I think I've come to the conclusion that either God has forgotten about me at this point, or I am no longer in his purview. Which is fine. I just assume that it's part of the plan. So I'll do what's necessary to keep everyone in my house standing. And everyone inside my purview, like this here truck, out of harm's way. So if Marjani so much as raises a voice to you, tell her come see me. Not real kindred. Maria growls with this frustration. You know, she wasn't even good for a full night. And now she has this need. This need to do something horrible. It comes on instinct now. You can see a threat. You know when they're all a threat.
We're going to switch back to the coterie house, where Noel is sitting and studying something specific, possibly. What is it that you're studying, Mr. Stoneford?
Going over a couple of things because he's been getting asked a lot of questions about the different things that can ail kindred, the different curses that that kindred can take. Not necessarily just banes, but particular oddities that come up. Things like folkloric banes and blocks. Eating flaws and things of the like. Going back through the fiction and the lore and everything, just in case when someone else asks him a question, he can just go, here's an answer.
Mm-hmm. Well, your library isn't chock full of things of that sort, but it does have little tidbits here and there.
The other thing is I probably would have finished off that Vitruvian man-esque diagram regarding the possibilities, regarding vicissitude, with little notes probably written out in Arabic, denoting different things. Not really kind of how you say, it's not really distinguishable from just a morbid piece of art at this stage, unless you have the ability to read Arabic.
Sure.
Where there are notes on how things would theoretically connect together. Not that he's sure that it would work in any way, shape, or form, but it's the formation of ideas.
It's about that moment that you hear a knock on the door.
I do have my sword resting against the table, just in case. Given how I feel right now, better to be safe than sorry. A little bit of paranoia is of not feeling the greatest, not feeling completely in control of my faculties. So I'll grab it and go over towards the door. Not showing that I have it, just kind of just walking up towards the door and peeking out, seeing who might be there.
There's a fairly tall black man with slightly bushy hair and glasses in what looks like a Catholic priest's frock, and the kindred you know as Josh outside the door.
Oh, I see. From the other side of the door, they will hear, just a moment, before I go and sit the sword back up against the table, fold up the things and put them away. Because Josh doesn't need to be seeing that. And I will go over and open the door.
And there, you see them. Noel Stonefoot, I presume? Says the tall black man.
That is me, yes.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Urian Doyle. And I think that is where we're going to end the session for tonight.
Oh no.
Scheiße.
My name is Urian Doyle.
I get to come home to that. That's gonna be great.
No, we're gonna come home to what's left of the crucified remains of Noel. That's
You
what we're
may-
gonna come home for.
You may be right, actually.
What the job you did on the robes.
It was hard. It was hard.
But yeah. Right. You're Urian Doyle. All right.
You're welcome.
Oh.
I know better.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you do it without with zero metagame.
Well, Noel has already made an assumption due to the
Assumption is
interaction that he. Yeah. His assumption could very well be false, and there could be some major fuckery going on. But
Honestly, what I find funny is what I'm basically seeing at this exact moment is because I've had this conversation with CoffeeCat on what it was that Marius Calhoun would be doing and how he would go about this. And now it's actually, oh god, he actually used that as plot points. So now you get to untangle a web I wrote with him, and I can't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
well,
Oh boy.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna have the chance to get to it.
Urian Doyle is going to
need-
try and put us on a conservatorship.
Oh shit.
I mean, to be fair, if I'm on anyone's retainer, I'd very much like it to be Urian Doyle's.
Oh, no, he's not going to be nice about it like he was with his coterie. That's the problem.
And that's Urian Doyle being nice, everyone. What happened to Benji was Urian being nice.
That was
You'd
disciplinary measures. That's all that was.
That's all that was. Yeah. Discipline. But yes, Black Wolf, if you're still around, I would very much enjoy if you would put up the poll, please, for our lovely audience vote. Now, we do have a single stain to resolve. Do you have a conviction that would protect you from that stain, Maria?
Arguably, yes.
Oh, please argue it.
Love thyself as you would and love your neighbor as you would thyself.
Question is, how much does Maria love herself at this point?
If anything, she's starting to get a little bit too much.
She's getting a little ego.
Well,
She doesn't
You know,
loathe herself anymore, maybe?
she's in a point of numbed acceptance, I guess is the best way to put it. But she's offering him a chance.
She is. That she
More
is.
than anybody else would give. And she has stayed true to her word, as she would expect herself to be.
Yep.
That is a point of love, is honesty and being able to be truthful.
Then
She has never had to lie to him.
she's never had to lie to him, because he is a former ghoul, and he knows how this works. So, she has that advantage at least.
Yep.
So, yes, you can erase that stain.
Yay!
So,
I'd like not to lose humanity again, please.
Yay!
so who recovered willpower?
I did.
I also did.
Yay!
Did I help?
Good, I'm gonna fucking need it. Yes, you did.
Oh, cool. All right, then I did too.
Yeah, I would say that you did because you actually helped me fulfill my desire. You want to know how? Because you were the direct focus of my desire with this session.
Oh,
And that was before you'd said anything, by the way, so...
neat. Okay.
That just happened to fall in by coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
It was literally talk to Faust.
Well,
Did it?
now you have Yuri and Doyle on your door.
Yeah, Yuri, yes.
And
yes,
Josh.
And Josh.
I have Josh and Urian. Yes. Yes.
Urian
Yes.
Doyle and his buddy Josh.
Yes.
Oh, Christ.
Yes. That's a thing that'll be resolved, maybe, for next session. But we can move on to experience now. We do things similar as the way that Derek does in his Chronicles, Edmonton, and in Detroit previously, where each of our players who showed up today gets one. Congratulations, your participation trophy.
Yay.
Yay!
Yay, participation trophy. Oh god, I can't lean forward. That sun shines directly into my eyes.
It
Lean
just
forward.
shines directly into your
Bahari
eyeballs.
rules.
I don't think Noel's a Bahari.
We're working on it.
Oh god.
But
burns!
then we decide who had the best scene, who moved our plot the furthest, and who had the best line. So let's start with plot. Who moved it? Who moved theirs? Who moved the total plot? Who moved what? The most.
I'm gonna give it to Faust.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tip
thank
Faust.
you.
Faust.
Thank you.
Then it's all
I
on
think
Faust.
my-
Anonymous.
Okay.
I mean, you get
All
the
right.
majority, but you could always just say who you were going to pick anyway.
I mean, Maria did the work, is where I stand on that. But
But
Well,
The rest of
she
show-
did the short term, but you're the one who's got the long term stuff. You gotta remember the core difference, as far as I can tell, between Noel and Faust versus what Maria does is Maria is constantly doing on the fly, patching holes, finding this, doing this, bang, 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 bang. You guys do the low, slow burn that'll ratchet up later, right?
Because they're the big, they're the bigger players. You're the homebody.
Yeah.
And Brian's muscle man.
Bryan is two things. Says what needs to be said, which we'll get back to that. And he's the break glass in case of emergency.
Yes,
Mhm.
he's absolutely
He's the
the
heavy.
break glass.
That is the wonderful thing. I'm here for when things go wrong. Till then, you want to make my life really good.
Yep, him and Ray. Him and Ray are both very, very much on that
Break
scale.
glass in case of emergencies.
Yeah.
Break ass in case of emergency. Don't you be glass? Not in a few
No.
minutes.
Nope. Who had our best scene though?
Maria.
Which one?
There were too many
Yeah.
for me to pick.
Take your pick.
Alright.
But Maria.
my favorite in this was just Maria screaming at Noel, and I was just turns to Brian. So how was your day?
Why?
That was my favorite as well.
Beautiful.
Ouch.
Love to see it.
Just
Look.
cut off right there.
I mean, also the scene with David and the scenes with Sammy.
There was a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
It just
Take
my
your
mindset.
pick.
my
Take your
mindset at that moment. It was just home sweet home.
Plus side. All right. So, I guess then it's Maria. Okay.
Yeah. Who had our best line?
Put my head up.
Oh, which one?
It's like, oh, please, we don't need to be reminded of Ray's macabre Chinese food. I'm pretty sure the
That-
food was
that was
actually
pretty good.
Chinese.
Again,
that was
I'm gonna
pretty
throw
good.
my hat in the ring for that. Who's gonna buy that flavor slushy?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to Brian, but for a different line. I say what's needed to be said.
Right.
Like, out of everything he does, right? It's like, well, why don't you talk more and all this kind of stuff? He listens. He's the fly on the wall. He is there to react when something bad happens. But when he does put his time in, he wants it to be impactful. Like, so when Brian speaks, Brian in my mind is almost the epitome of speak softly and carry a big stick.
Brian is the stick.
Yeah, well, he's the soft speaking stick is what he is.
Yep.
So
Beat stick.
Wow, I hadn't even thought of that one as a line.
but it's
But yeah.
probably the most poignant.
That
Speaks
is
very truly
Brian
to
in a
Brian's
nutshell.
character. Yeah. Speaks very true to his character. He doesn't say much, but when he does, he says what needs to be said.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Lethality's going to get experience next week.
Considering he has to play survival for a second.
Barring survival, that'll be fun.
I love how all of you are just jumping to the conclusion that this is trouble.
I always assume when two people
could be.
you don't really know show up at your door, it's trouble.
Look, it's the theme of the iconoclast. If someone shows up on our doorstep, that's all
Normally
it is.
trouble.
It doesn't
Normally
normally
trouble.
bode well for our group.
Yeah. Although, this is either one of two things. Either I'm about to get crucified, or I'm finally going to, in character, unravel all of the obfuscation that Noel is yet to decipher, because he can't, because it's specifically designed to be undecipherable unless one of them says something. Or, number 3, that something else is going on.
You don't know. We'll have to find out next time.
I don't know.
We will have to find out next time, won't we, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we...
So,
I got
Noel was
experience.
just hallucinating.
well, in the case of the line, though, we're deciding Bryan, right?
My vote's Bryan.
Yeah.
Spectre's is
Yeah.
Bryan.
Bryan.
I will concede.
Okay.
You will
Bryan it
concede?
is.
I will concede.
Bryan it is.
Thank you very much.
And then we're just waiting on the poll, which the last few minutes for the audience vote. Remember, you can use your channel points and you can use bits to influence the vote however you like, so feel free to do so. How did we enjoy the session?
I enjoyed it. The biggest thing right now is I'm kind of like, oh my god, I almost want to call in tomorrow or next week and say I'm not showing up. I am going to give all this time to Noel. I just want to sit and just be part of the audience at this point. And I want lethality to know that, in fact, it should be a one-on-one session because none of us will be there to save him.
Don't put that kind of pressure on me.
Maria, you win the audience vote. Thank you, Volvo, for contributing channel points to make that happen.
Woot.
So who has expenditures this session?
Okay, so I'm gonna, given what is built out of David, would it be correct in assuming that he is a 1-dot retainer?
No, he's actually a 3.
It's actually a 3-dot. Well, I have 9 experience spent.
Okay. He is a 3. He is a gifted mortal, even though he doesn't have much in the way of physical.
It's just not as physical. Okay.
He's very charismatic. He's very smart. And now he has 1 dot in Protean.
Well, I'm
Make him
going to
even
have
more
to.
intimidating.
I'm going to have to spend the 6 experience I have as any explanation for anything Bryan knows about firearms.
That's to get firearms too.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we spell Ramirez?
Just to
R-A-M-I-R-E-Z.
Thank you. He's 3-dot. Wow.
Yeah.
I am,
He was
I am
for his previous kindred, so
Yeah, falls true.
only makes sense that he is for you.
Thank you, Spectre. You incidentally gave me this.
Yay!
I have nothing yet.
No. You're still riding high though. And you're gonna be high like that until you either feed next or reach hunger 5.
Yay!
It means that I'm going to want to be using my sword to get the specialty dots to cancel out the -1 on the melee.
Yeah. That's gonna be fun.
I have a question about future expenditures and plans.
Yes.
For our current chase, what would I need to put into that? For another dot. Would it be 9 experience?
No, it'd be 3.
Oh.
Advantages, including any coterie dots, are a flat 3 per dot.
That's what makes them like backgrounds and what have you really good to invest in if you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
There are some games where you won't be able to buy them. Like they're like, okay, no, these are awarded at the end of like plots,
Yeah.
positioning, or anything like that. But I think we could argue now for Chase 3 because of Maria's play.
Yeah, you would have the homeless as a fairly steady feeding source. Not that many of the people in the actual neighborhood are actually coming out, but you have little camps that are kind of setting up around David, since he seems to be an influential member of that scene.
Yes.
What he says goes, and if you don't like what he says, you're out. And he has the people behind him to prove it. So you'd be happy to know he has 5 dots worth of allies.
He's a great asset. Damn. Cool.
And he's now a 3-dot retainer to Maria.
Yep.
Well, like I said, and like Maria said, more accurately, it is going to be a do-over.
Mm-hmm.
The simple question is you got borrowed time, 30 to 60 years at most. What are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Show me you're not. I want winners on my side.
Yeah.
Her exact quote. So, show me the good apples. We'll end up feeding them. Show me somebody who's here who's basically just peddling and wrecking people and making things worse.
We'll get rid of them.
Yep.
That'll increase Borderline.
Which makes, it gives us a chance to increase a lot of things. But it also ends up meaning that now suddenly Maria is going to become that much more tyrannical.
Oh.
You can't have this kind of organized because who decides good and bad? Whose moral compass, right? Because at that point, it turns into something worse, and therein lies the problem, right? You can say, well, what's the old expression, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So here's a question. Between her 2 retainers and her touchstones, can what's left of Maria's tattered soul be saved? Or humanity be saved? There's the question. Because she is fast tracking at this point. She doesn't have that old.
Yep.
She doesn't have that old hesitation. So I'm kind of curious.
Very curious as well. And with Samantha now aware of what's happening to Maria, what is she going to do to intervene? That's the real question, too.
Yeah.
But yes, that is a purchasable thing for both of you, actually. Faust wants to put the coterie chase up to 3, and Maria's taking a 3-dot retainer. Noel has no expenditures this time.
I need to express I don't have an expenditure now. It's just
It's
asking if
Oh, that's the plan. Okay.
Actually, you know what? I can finance that, so I'm going to.
You're going to? Okay.
Yep.
That's going to make
I
life
can finance
a little
it.
easier.
So y'all
With
are,
Chase 3.
Y'all are up to Chase 3.
It's gonna make it a little easier for y'all.
You're welcome.
I will add that to my notes.
Okay, so that means next session, Bryan and Faust are gonna go thin blood hunting.
Oh.
Thin blood hunting and probably Jude hunting from the things I've been hearing all session.
That too.
Yeah.
In fact, that might actually be the first stop. Am I about to
I
kill my...
believe. I think that's going to be our first order of business next session is
Hey,
tracking
Jude.
down Jude.
I'm about to make
Yeah.
you real bad.
Hey, Jude.
It
Don't
is
be-
time to be afraid, Jude.
I
Be
mean,
afraid, Jude.
to be fair, he
This is
has.
what you wanted, right? The
Lethality.
void is coming to embrace you.
Lethality. Little bit. When you do that, it's always staring into the camera, not to the screen. That's
Yeah.
the key. If you want it, don't get that close. Like when you're leaning in, it's got to be close, not the so close that it's maddening. It's
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the way my camera's sitting, it's kind of hard to do. 'Cause
I know, but
on
I
the
figure
floor-
I've been doing a lot of play over camera, so
Right,
there's
yeah.
a reason why, and I figure I end up showing you something because I ended up seeing. Actually, Spectre did it earlier, I think by accident. Maintaining eye contact with the camera as opposed to looking at the picture or what have you. Like you're maintaining eye contact. You did it fantastically earlier.
Yeah, well, the whole reason that I even put the cameras on the screen that I do is because
is to do that.
is to do more or less that, because I'm not making direct eye contact with the camera, because somehow that seems like it's making eye contact with other people, question mark. I don't do that very well.
Eye contact scary.
I don't do that very well.
Coffee, I love you.
But
You done good. Yeah, done good.
you done good. You guys did good too. We had
Yay.
some lovely raids from our fellows over at other channels. Thank you so much for the raids, and anybody who's stuck around through that. You're all wonderful. We appreciate you. And why don't we give a little bit of shout outs? Derek, where can we find you and what you're doing?
Hey, everybody. My name's Macabre Derek, and I am the storyteller for a brand new chronicle, Edmonton by Night Blood Sands. We just ended up finishing up episode 1, and the VOD will be posted shortly. We also end up having a wonderful bit of a workshop afterwards. So, actually, I should end up clarifying. Edmonton is starting 6:30 Central Standard Time on Sundays. Monday at 7 o'clock, I end up running a Vampire the Masquerade workshop, specifically there for us to kind of hang out, talk shop, me to discuss a topic, me to go on random tangents on a moment's notice, sometimes getting distracted by the chat, discussing various things. It's very much a hangout and discuss more than a lecture series, though we do have these moments where we can end up doing a deep dive into, well, some of the technicalities of storytelling, some of the details we can end up going through. Now, if that is your cup of tea, you definitely want Sunday and Monday to come on down. If you like horror, if you enjoy character art, if you enjoy illustrations of a more grim style, we just ended up doing Drawing on the Macabre, which is every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 o'clock, where today we ended up doing, well, Amanda Young, a.k.a. one of the disciples of the Jigsaw Killer. You might have played Dead by Daylight, and you might know them as the Pig.
You've also been delving into Dead by Daylight.
I got dragged into Dead by Daylight, so you're going to find that there might be some follow-up streams, or you know what, I'm burnt out, screw it, we're going to go in and deep delve. So if you enjoy horror, if you enjoy illustrations, if you enjoy visual storytelling, if you enjoy vampire, come on down. We always have a place for you in the mosh pit.
What a wonderful mosh pit it is. Lethality, what have you been up to, and what are you doing coming up?
Why, yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Lethality Complex, and when I'm not about to go through a recreation of the crucifixion of St. Peter, that is upside down, you can find me over at the Gathering of Nerds. Currently, we have just a variety of mostly Minecraft stream and a variety stream Wednesday mornings, American time. But soon enough, there will also be the return of the Gathering Presents, hosted by yours truly, where I take a group of players through a short form of a game. Still have plans to run Mage the Ascension, and that will be coming back once I get my life in order. Yeah, that's all you really need to know about that. If you're awake at
Like
middle of buttfuck nowhere hours.
I see mostly like 4 in the morning is when you guys pop in, and it's like super
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning.
Yeah,
4 o'clock. 4 a.m. Central Standard Time.
It was posed that it was Matty Morgs that posted. Apparently, we're going to need to end up organizing kind of fight club going on, given the fact that it's like 5 a.m. and apparently all we want to do is fight. Guilty Gear Strive.
Guilty Gear Strive has been also something
know
that
this.
we've been doing a lot.
I know the smell of the game. His name is Gold Lewis Dickinson.
Yes. Inspector, have you any plans for streams?
Not streams. However, I am a community illustrator. Be actually opening up my commissions coming up in the next week here, so just pay attention to that when that starts up again. And I'll be posting it in our fellow Discord, Valid, Derek, etc. Advertising when I happen to.
Yep. Occasionally they do the stream, but they're mostly on socials these days, if they're doing anything at all. So that's that. But we appreciate everybody who has come out today for our lovely game. So, while Noel is kind of shitting his pants and realizing that he has been confronted by a couple of kindred that are fairly renowned, we'll have to wait for that for next time. So, until then, say goodnight, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Be afraid of Josh. Be very afraid.